All right, this will be my first attempt, and we'll see how it goes on trying to show you how I make my seaweed rattles. Of course, we're starting with seaweed, and so I just wanted to show what a lot of it looks like in its raw form, because once I've made them, they look at it and they go, "That was seaweed?" Yeah, it was. These are ones I picked up the other day, and they show signs of being fairly dry, but they also have this really thick layer of salt. So I haven't seen them like this. And I mean, they were all over the beach. This is I'm talking Cambria. Yesterday I got them yesterday, which was like on the 26th or something like that. See, it comes right off, and then you can see the green, which it's usually if it's green like that and you try to take it home and dry it, it usually doesn't work. I don't know why. I've kept them out in the sun, in the blistering sun, because in Paso Robles it does get really hot here, and still it never dried properly. I'm thinking maybe the salt is what really does it, and so taking that off doesn't do any good. I don't know. You know, I'm trying with these that I brought home, the newer ones. But they had already shown signs, as you can see on this one. You can see this was in the sand, and this was facing the sun. And you can see how, and maybe tell by the sound of it, that it's kind of on a gourd quality there. But yet on this side, it still has the green underneath the salt. And I'm going to put that towards the sun and see if it'll dry properly like this one. And if it doesn't, then it goes in the compost pile with the rest. Some I do find that, of course, are already pretty dry. And these are a little bit different. These are very kind of fragile. Although they are dry and everything, you can press your thumb into it. I don't know if you can see that very well. And so if you make a rattle or something out of this material, then you're going to have to really coat it with something in order, or not play it or have it for decoration only. And this one I found really interesting because it already had the cute little bulbs on it and everything. So I'm not sure what I might do with this. I might make a doll out of it, which I've only made a few dolls out of these, and they've been a big hit. And I don't have any to show you. I have them on my Facebook website, which is Precious Earth Art. If you go on Facebook and look up Precious Earth Art, I have a doll made out of seaweed on there that has since sold at an auction. That was my first doll that was auctioned off. I was really thrilled. It went for $125. I was just amazed. Anyway, here is another one dry. And I have this one. Oh, okay. Now that I touch it. Okay, this one I had in water. Because sometimes when they're dry, like this is dry, like in here, and you can't get a stick in it, or you can't really do anything, or you want to do something different with it, what you can do, and this is what I do, is that I stick them in water. And so I got a mason jar of water, of this, like this, and what I do is I will put them in there, weigh them down, or whatever it has to be, or however long you want it, or however you do it. But if you put it in there for like 5 minutes, it becomes soft again and pliable. And you can open that up, and you can put either a stick in it of your choice, which is what I do a lot of. And as you can see there, this is what I did with this particular one right here. I had a stick picked out for it, and it wouldn't fit in, of course, because it was closed up. So I put it in the water, and it's still wet right now. So like this one in particular, I don't have to tie down. It's close enough to the size that it will dry and adhere to it. And I don't have my insides to this, so it doesn't rattle. But what I'll do is take this off, and you see it's hollow in the inside. What I do here then, what I normally do, is you can choose what you want to put in it according to sound. My particular favorite is corn, just dried corn. And I happen to have some right here because I'm making these today. And you just pour your corn. And, and it's all according to the sound that you like, too. If you like more, put more. If you like a softer, kind of a muted sound, then you would go more for rice, couscous, anything. All those dry things like that. Okay. Is that the sound I'm going for? If it is, then I'm done. Then what I do is take the stick that I had, which was a piece of wood that I found really interesting on the beach. I get most everything I get to do this on the beach. So what I do, you can see the line where it was on there properly. It's still wet. Okay, I think this is how I have it. Yeah. Okay, so then, you put it on there nice and snug until it fits the way you want it and it looks the way you want it. And that's the beginning right there of starting. Now I had another one. I have two that I put on. This one is all the way dry now, but I put it on there and it was a little bit bigger than the stick. So I took some sinew and I went around it until it dried, which it has now. Now it's dried onto the stick and the stick will not come off even with all, see, this doesn't even work anymore. Even with that on it, it will not come off. Now you wanted to hear a different sound. This is a very small one that I made quite a while ago. That has rice in it. Can you tell the difference between the sounds? Okay, so that's what does that. And I have another one here that I have started for my doll. Okay, sometimes I call it the hair. Sometimes I leave the hair on and I work around it. I have made with wire some arms, and I've also put her on a stick. It's a little female. I'm going to make her a Native American, and I'm going to put her on something else where she'll stand, and then from there I'll work her hair. I may wet her hair and do it differently. I'm not really sure. The last one I didn't. The last one I put a hood over. And Lori made the face for me because I'm not real good at making faces, but I'm going to have to learn to do that since she's no longer with me. This was one of her favorite things to do. She never thought of ever making things out of seaweed and stuff, but being on the road most of my life and living the way that I do, very frugal, that buying canvases and all kinds of other things, even though I can somewhat afford it now, I prefer to still continuously do my art with things that I find on the road. Here's some more beautiful things that can be found on the beach. Some of them I use. Oh, here's a platform. Now see, I even found it on the beach. A beautiful platform of which I think I will put my doll on. She will stand there. And different things. This is what I make some of my hangings with. And the wormhole ones are really special to me. I really like those because I can't even imagine how long it took for those little worms to eat all that. So anyhow, this is just a little bit of what I do. I have some longer ones made. And I can show you this one too. This is a very long one. I call these talking sticks though. You just pass them in Native American. You pass them to the next person, and that person talks until they pass it to the next person, and they are to talk uninterrupted. I'll talk more about that as time goes on. But I just wanted to show you a couple of my other longer ones that I have, that I'm working on. This one is a two-fold. This one's a rattle. It hasn't got anything in it yet. I haven't put anything in it. But here at the end, to me, it kind of looked like a bird. And so I'm going to try to carve that into a little bird at the end. As you can see my vision there. And this will be on sale too. I've actually given away more than I've made money on, and that's okay because all my needs are taken care of, so I'm doing good. Here's another really cool one that I found. This is again one of those little thinner ones. So these are a little bit more fragile than the others, and once I put the coating on them, they usually are pretty good at holding up. So anyway, thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll talk more about how I make them. This was just the first. I'm gathering them, putting them, I mean, you can look on the beach and find these. They have to be dry, because if you don't find them already dry, I don't know, it's just really difficult. If anyone knows how to dry them when they take them home and they do properly, I'd love that you get a hold of me and let me know, because I'd like to know too. But finding the dry ones are still pretty easy to do. And I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes. Some have dents. This one has a little dent in it. And you can get it wet and bring it out. What I do is I just try to find the ones that I can use and not have to deal with all of that, because I have enough to deal with. And then this one has hair, and sometimes they have long hair, and you can either take all of this off, and then I sand them down. All of these I sand, by the way, and I had one that I was doing a moment ago that I was sanding that I was going to show you, but I misplaced it, I think. Oh no, here it is. Okay, this is the one I was sanding. So I'll show you a brief of how I do my sanding. I use these little things because they're kind of cool, and you can go back and forth like this until you know, just like sanding anything that you do around the house. Some are a lot smoother. This one happens to be a bit rougher. And to get into some of these little places that are difficult, I try to get in here like this with, you know what these are, and that helps. And these are so cheap, it doesn't really matter. So there you have it. So work on your little dolls. First collect. You can make them into dolls, you can make them into rattles, or kind of anything that you like. This one has a smaller handle on it, and what I'll do is I'll probably get it wet and squeeze it on here, and then I'll cover it with leather. But of course I have to put in my little chicky of my choice. Anyway, again, thanks, and I'll come back with a little bit more instructions as I get going on them. Thank you for watching on how to make rattles out of seaweed.